Well, the G is running, it is legal, and I gotta catch you guys up on a lot of information. This turned into a real mess legalizing this thing. Man, it was a process. All right, we're gonna see if this thing has any guts. Yeah, I'd say it does all right. Sounds pretty good. Makes nice noises. I like it. It's a winter wonderland. Did I say winder? Did I say winder? Yeah. Let me start this over. It's a winter wonderland out here. We got the G home just in time to not drive it. We already, I don't know what do you think, 3-4 inches of snow now? It's been snowing for a couple hours, 3-4 hours, so we'll see what we get. It's supposed to snow for the next 12 hours. But got some stuff to tell you about that thing. This is after last night's snowstorm. You can see how deep it is. It's up over the bumpers. I mean, geez, it's almost up to the suspension on the bottom of my truck. It's halfway knee deep on me. Whew. I wish we could get a measuring tape to see how deep it is. Well, I can't believe that worked, but it kind of worked. Well, Cheyenne didn't catch my burnout at the end, but we got it here. Made it, no problems. Actually, the ABS was locking up the front brakes the whole way down because the vehicle dynamic control was kind of freaking out about driving on the snow, which I was fighting the whole way down. Just trying to find the VDC off button. But here it is, and truck's still the best truck ever. Couldn't have done any of that without it. And, of course, the snow blower. So, hell yeah. As some may have expected, the no baffle valve cover did actually breathe quite a bit of oil. It would almost fill the catch can if you took a 30-minute drive. So I know what I can do different next time to make this work. I can put the seals in and actually change them without getting new valve covers. But just for now, because I don't have any spares, I bought a new valve cover for Shy's G. And I'm going to go ahead and swap this in. And if anybody has ever done this in the car, man, you know how much this sucks. My hat's off to you, because this sucks. So I'm getting the engine back together. A couple more parts to go back on yet, but I just wanted to point out, we drove to the store last night, about 10 minutes away. I left the car idle in the store. I was in there for 5 minutes. I drove 10 minutes back. That's how much oil. Like, here's an impact wrench. That's how much oil it breathes. So that new valve cover should definitely fix that problem. And I only need to check this and drain it every time I change the oil instead of every single time we go anywhere. Looks like I got everything back on. I don't have any bolts left over or parts, so let's fire it up and check for some leaks. Oh, thanks for slamming on my leg door. I don't see any coolant lines leaking. No vacuum leaks, obviously it's running well. I'm not seeing any oil leaks. I'm sure you couldn't see anything, but I was using the camera more as a flashlight than a video device. But yeah, there we go. Looks like that change is done, and we'll see if it still breathes a ton of oil. It should not. I did forget a hose. It runs better when I plug it. Let me plug that real quick. It's time to pick up my tools and go inside. It's icy cold out here. With just a little help from my snap-on scanner, all the lights you probably saw in some of the earlier clips, airbag light and engine light, I got engine light out. That was just warning me about a O2 sensor, which, you know, guys that build cars, we've had a lot of O2 sensor codes. Airbag lights off. I got the steering position center. Sorry, I got the steering wheel position sensor reset so it says back to 0. I turned off the airbag light and the VDC works again, so we're golden. So Cheyenne has wanted to make her engine bay pretty on the G, and as part of a Christmas present, I'm going to have her plenum chromed like she wanted. I can't do any more of it because she's driving it around, and if I, take parts off it and disable it, she's probably going to notice that. So I'm taking the plenum off the old motor, and I'm going to clean it up because it's got all kinds of burn up oil and stuff in it. I'm going to clean it up so it's nice and clean. It's not going to get any contaminants or anything in the engine. Not that it would, it just makes me feel better. And then after I'm done scrubbing this out, I'm going to take it over to my friend Aaron's house, and we're going to get it powder coated. It's not perfect, but without hot tanking it, that's pretty clean. It's a lot better than it was. Washed off the top the best I could. We did some sanding on it. This is the what's remaining of the casting marks. It's got to get sandblasted before it goes in the tank anyway, so I don't want to make it super smooth, but it's pretty smooth now. And there'll be a little bit of orange peel with the powder coat anyway, because we're not actually true chrome plating it, it's getting chrome powder coat. So after it's coated, I can actually get out the polisher and polish out a lot of orange peel and make it look a lot smoother. So let's get this blown off and take it over to Aaron's and
you built out of lies and deception, raising your weapon, every word you speak dripping with venom. You're playing with fire, preparing for war. I'm ready to settle the score. You're sounding the alarm while I'm trying to remain in the calm before.
the plenum is in the trunk. I'm on the way home. The plan is tomorrow I'm going to practice polishing a different chrome part, and then I'm going to try to polish that plenum and get all the imperfections out of it, make it look a little bit better. Longer night than I thought. Not too late though, but I do get up at 4. Anyway, that's the plan for tomorrow. Give it a polish, see what it looks like. So here, this is just showing me wrapping the plenum up. The plenum's in that box. I didn't get any clips of that, but I couldn't talk because Cheyenne had tagged along with me to work that day. So she was, 20 feet away from me in the office, and I didn't want to talk too much about what I was doing because she didn't yet know that she was getting her plenum chromed for Christmas. But this is just showing me wrapping it, and here I'm showing how pretty the wrapping is. I thought that holographic chrome sparkle in there was pretty cool for wrapping paper. So I got a couple cars running over at the barn, just trying to make sure the Sentra stays, in good condition. I don't want the battery going dead or anything. Maxima staying there with the heat on because it's freezing outside. It's 19 degrees outside today. So walking over to the house to get the G. I'm gonna take it over to the field. I'm gonna take the old wheels off the Altima to put the wheels that are on the G now back on the Altima, because those are the Altima's factory wheels. We're gonna put the wheel spacers back on, the wheels and spacers back on. We're gonna lower it. We're gonna put the carbon fiber grill on, and yeah, it's 19 degrees outside today. So before everybody gets here, I'm gonna try to get the fire in the barn going, in the stove. I'm gonna chop some wood. But man, is it cold. I'm ready to stop filming because my bare hand is holding the camera and it's freezing. It hasn't been started in a few days, so hopefully the parasitic draw hasn't ran it dead. Oh, the door's frozen. There we go. Please start. Hell yeah. That's what I wanted to hear. I apologize. According to the G, it's actually 16 degrees today. Look at this. This is the amount of exhaust the Maxima makes. This is the amount of exhaust the Sentra makes. Bro, this thing is rivaling my neighbor's chimney. So this swap is a little bit tricky. These wheels fit basically any lug nut because of the size of the hole. Those wheels only fit really small aftermarket lug nuts. And the second set of lug nuts we have that normally held those wheels on is a different thread than the studs on the cars. It only fits the different thread pitch that's on the spacers. So I have to jack both cars up one wheel at a time, switch the Altima's wheels back to the Altima, take those wheels off, use those lug nuts to put on the spacer, and then use those lug nuts to put on the set of Koenigs that are going to be going on this car. Here's your last look at the G with these wheels at this ride height. Not that anybody's going to miss it. So I got the front of the car up in the air. Don't worry, the wheels are chalked. Altima wheels are off. Spacers are on, but obviously the lugs that I need to hold those on, I'm still holding those on. Some of the lug nuts are frozen in with ice, so I have just the tool. Yeah. Oh, that's a little close. Just bring it close enough to melt the water, not hurt the paint. Front wheels are on. So what I'm going to do now is get a tape measure from the fender to wherever we decide we want how much tuck, and that's how much I'm going to adjust the coilover. So there's the difference. Oh, and Aaron's here. Obviously the car's still unweighted, but it's still that low. That's going to be awesome. So we got just enough clearance. And the grill's on. Trip over some snow. So what do you think of your car?
It's awesome.
Your sunglasses are awesome. So at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that there was a story behind getting the G35 legalized. So as you guys watch me absolutely thrash a G35 on a set of Corsa trying to beat a much more powerful Mustang, I'm going to talk about that and go through that. So once we got it done and running and driving, I put the Altima wheels on it, obviously, as you saw, because I didn't want to bring it in with spacers and a bunch of camber, so we raised it up so they could get on the lifts and stuff, as I knew they would have to do. And I changed out the race down pipes that we put on one of the early videos for some pipes with some fake cats to try to, kind of get away with that and hopefully get it through. And it actually failed the first time it went through its enhanced inspection. It failed for the rear sway bar links were apparently bad. The third brake light didn't work. The headlights were too blue. Oh, the steering shaft hit the header and the downpipes. They didn't like the downpipes. They said because the O2 bung was in front of the catalytic converter, they knew it wasn't real. So I had to fix all that. So we took it back to a friend of mine's shop, the guy I'm doing the 240 for, Jeremy, and we were supposed to knock us out in a couple hours. It took 11 hours straight, where we had to cut the studs off the stock cats and drill them out so we could put bolts through them, and we got those on. And we tried to dent the header, but it just we could not get it to dent because it was right on a weld. So we ended up just putting some washers underneath the engine mount to space it out, which worked. Changed out the headlight bulbs. The third brake light actually did work. It just had 3% tint on the back window, so you couldn't see it. And then I ordered some sway bar links, and they weren't there the same day. So I figured another day we'd knock that out real quick. Well, after 2 weeks, my parts had not shown up. So I just went to AutoZone and got a set and threw them on, and then we took it back for inspection again. And keep in mind, we were just driving it back and forth. We trailered it to the shop originally to do all this work on it close to the inspection shop instead of in my barn, and then we were just driving with no plates back and forth like 20 minutes to this garage. Now Jeremy is the state inspector, so I had Jeremy driving it back and forth, so if he did get pulled over for having no plates, which did happen one time, he got pulled over on the way back from the garage the first time it failed. If he got pulled over, they wouldn't give him any fines or anything. We would inform him what we were doing with the inspection process, and as they did, they would let him go. But after we got all the stuff put on and we were ready to go back for the second time, I kind of forgot how steering racks work, I guess. So when I went to put the steering shaft back on after spacing it out, because you have to have the steering shaft off in order to make enough room to hit it, obviously. I was trying to find the end of the travel on the steering wheel, and I just kept spinning the steering shaft because I forgot the rack is what limits it, not the wheel, because I don't know what happened there. But after spinning the wheel like 5-ish times, I realized it wasn't going to stop. So I spun it back about as many times as I thought I had spun it. And I got it one less rotation than what I had turned it in the opposite direction. So driving it there, we noticed it had an airbag light. The VDC was on, the slip light was on. And I was like, great, it's going to fail a second time now. And I'm going to have to fix that, but I'll just try it. And somehow they passed it. He said he noticed the light, but he didn't know it wasn't on the first time, so they kind of ignored it. Which, once I got it back and had plates on it, all I did when we brought it home, was I just hooked it up to my Snap-on scanner. I reset the steering wheel position sensor, and it fixed all those lights. It just had to know the wheel was zeroed. But after the second time it passed, we got plates on it, we drove it home, and I'm happy to be done working on it and finally doing the fun stuff with modding, and I'm glad Cheyenne's enjoying it. It's a lot of fun to drive. I'm kind of jealous. I know in an earlier video I said I'll never get one, but I kind of want one now, so maybe we'll get a G someday. But if there's any time left, enjoy watching me try to beat a Mustang here in Assetto, and I appreciate you guys watching. I hope to see you in the next video, and talk to you guys later.